Yeah, hi, Antonia. I was using the File Hippo before, but now I'm gonna use. I just downloaded this another software, so hopefully it'll come in better. So I actually have all the slides that I was using earlier. So okay, this is the goal. I already had it marked out before when I was explaining it. Uh, I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah. Uh, yeah. So yeah, this is because I use these slides for the earlier video, so they are still good. So uh, what I was mentioning that this is like a shorter intraday uh, term play that 1707 1708 right here, that was a point of interest that come down here initial, we go in for a shot and till about 1695 1693. In rare cases, if it's to break on the higher side, let's say it starts breaking about 1709 1710, then we need to, I mean, if you're still short, then we need to stop ourselves out and then look for a retrace lower back for retesting this point at T4, and then go long in anticipation the price is going to surge on the higher side towards 1730. So this was just a technical layout and what I did in earlier. And if there was a further breakout under, let's say, 1692 93, then we can expect the price falling all the way down to 1670. So that's the, I mean, this is the layout. And it's already started falling into it. I mean, this is what I was looking for. Uh, Move on the lower side. But if you track it, this is like for intraday. But if you go on a longer term scale, then this is what I had. I'm just gonna take this out, and yeah. And again, I had the layout done. I mean, this is the same thing from here. It's just that I've sketched it out. Basically, this was a breakout and the price went and made a high. It came down and then retested this trend line, which was a breakout trend line, and found support and then went back in for search. Came back again and then started drifting, more consolidating. Uh, the first high that it put in before we started retracing in for a retest, the high stands out and the low stands out. So the tops are lows, highs are lower, and on the bottom the lows are higher. So basically, it's forming into a symmetrical triangle, and then the next phase would be a break on the higher side. Uh, Towards this point or towards this point. Overall, um, favor the move on the lower side towards 1635, 1630, between 1630 and 1640 out here, and then go in for a big buys. I think I did that again. Yeah, this one again. This is what I mean now from here, that and this is again like first sequence. Second sequence would be a decent buy, and then we can probably expect to move back towards 1800. That's again uh, longer sketch going forward, like maybe about 3 weeks to maybe 4 to 6 weeks, depending what kind of price action we're having, what kind of volume that's going into the market. But yeah, what I'm more interested in is that basically another retest back to this trend line, and then if we hold it, then we're looking for meteor bounce on the higher side. So that would be 1800. So then I pulled out yeah, the silver. Uh, my one of my last posts over the Orbex on commodities was the silver, and basically against 1450 I was in favor of move towards 1570 75. But then again, we come down on a intraday scale, so then we can actually find more trading aspect, which is like a again, this is a series of higher lows, so indicating a move on the higher side. So and then it was playing beautifully till finally it propelled the price on the higher side. So 1575, I expect on the higher side to get tested, but at the same time, if I look it from a broader aspect, then I'm looking for a price to go and uh, test towards 16. Well, there should be a more bit more on the nudge on the higher side towards 1630-35, which is this is the same. This is exactly actually these are the 4 hours on the day and the daily on the silver. The same chart that I used it like 2-3 weeks back, and it's still valid because it was a uh, framed out into a shorter term and a longer term frame, and basically this one has been faltering, slight peak on the higher side, but then close was on the lower side. Finally got a close on the, we got an initial close over small breakout within this channel. So we just need another break above these three tops as the one that is forming for the price to go and test out 1630-35. But as the lower time frame suggests, before we go towards 1635, we have initial resistance towards 1575.80 that's likely good to come into play, and then probably back and forth a little bit within this form, which bulk of the work on the silver has been done. That was like those bids are here. Now this is a challenge, so basically 1575, and initially we hold. We'll see if back price falling towards this newly formed base, probably about around 1535.40. Starts holding, then that's the next move, and this one mirrors the target listed on the daily, which is this, so we're looking for, this is a pattern that I'm looking on I mean, in terms for silver, sorry. Then yeah, okay, the euro was quite straightforward. I apologize, I don't know why that recording did not uh, I tried doing here also in my end, and it's saying that it's trying to upload onto the cloud, but apparently there's some error. So I'm using a different software, but then again I have to upload this. So let's see what we can come across. So the euro I already discussed in earlier. This is basically, it's forming a pennant or a triangle, and it's more symmetrical. So basically, either this is a longer stretch view, which is requires a breakout on the 1.1 handle and the move towards 1250. That's what I'm looking at out there, or break under 107.35.40 and a move down towards 106. So this is a two alternate view that I'm looking into as of right now. Move towards 108. This is what I was calculating. Yeah, move towards 108.70, 108.75, 108.80. That would be that's a resistance, current resistance within the within the broader pattern that we are looking into it, and which is basically we break above this, once we, in case if we end up breaking on the higher side and closing the higher side, get our small retreats and then start provoking bounces, then we are looking for a move towards here 109.70, 109.80. But break above this then makes it bullish. That should last about a week, 10 days for it. once it starts trading about 110 for the price to go towards 1250, because apparently the Euro USD pair, there is a volume, but then the pace is it's a very slow pace. Looks it looks uh, bullish. We need to hold that a W shape move on the higher side. So yeah, as of right now, 108.75, 108.80. That's a resistance we can see a little bit, on an intraday base, looking for a smaller, very small, trade setup. Then yeah, 107, 108.75, 108.80, especially around 108.80, we can pre-attempt some sells, for quick banks in. But we we there's a good chances we are looking for move on the higher side. However, if it does uh, hold down here, then I'll be cautious, and but down here I'll look for a break under to go on the sell. This was the view on the euro, and yeah, I actually the euro was a bit, yeah. That was a good buying point today. That came in earlier around 107. Uh, well, that came in way too early, but then that was a good bid point. And then, initially the soft target would have been, we're just reaching it. We are about it. 108, 60. But then again, this is a better target. The Between 108.80 and 85. Any extension run will find resistance towards 109. So this is the whole play overall, as of the 2 hours, does prompt that when we come close to 109.80, we come to it, then those are better numbers for sell. But as of right now, any extended rally on the euro, likely to find resistance towards 109.90. Initial soft target is almost here, and then we have got next move 108.80, but actually 109 handle, that's the bigger support. So uh, this move soft target, we almost there, the euro for right now. Our initiative would have been to today's move would have been keep it simple. We buy here, we get out here. Starts holding, you can take initial shots, and then but I won't look for too much of a pip, maybe quick 15-20 pips, but keep the stops very tight. In case if it starts breaking on the higher side, that is like this, and if it comes back retesting it and starts showing a hold, then maybe buy it and take it, but not too much of a span to go between here and here. So for that matter, I would wait for price to come down to maybe close to 109, and then go for a shot and at least look for some, at least about 45-50 pips on the lower side. So, and will hide my stop above 109 2022. So I'm not gonna risk too much. The aim would be to see if it's gonna break on the lower side more, and then continue with the sales all the way here. Then finally can off and look for a break underneath, and then at least go for a target rank matching those lows. So this looks like a good setup. That initially we are coming down to the resistance, but then I would not be surprised if it goes back on the higher side towards 109. Actually 109. This is a better spot than the one we were looking earlier on the 8 hours. So 109 would be, if it comes into play today, there's a there's a pretty decent chance that it's going to come down and hold it, at least for intraday basis, and then we can see this move. So If 109 holds, and then we need to look for a move back under 108, 45, 50. If it starts closing under, then this thing looks more attractive, this view. So yeah, this is a more of a swing play. That's mean you see your swing, continue, starts holding, then move back here. Then we'll see. So this is the euro dollar. Other one that I discussed, yeah, S&P. The euro is already in the making. That's the reason why. Now we coming on at 8 hours and then finally 109. So yeah, but this would have been a soft target. We would have been done here. My neck probably is a bit slow. It's not moving, but waiting. I think one of the reasons that the earlier video did not upload it was maybe it became quite lengthy. It became like about 35-40 minutes. I think so, and then probably there's an issue with my bandwidth today. Anyways, this is the layout that I was discussing earlier on the S&P, and yeah, this is it. So this is the layout, and this is I sketched it out, using software green chart image. Yeah, the green chart image, and so basically was looking at between this and this slight hint of a shrinking down of the channel, so ascending wedge, but more look like a mile bull channel. So it's discrete. Maybe later on, if the price still stays within this band that's been right here, between here and here, then this will be more obvious as a ascending wedge. But as of right now, let's just consider it as a mild bull channel. Anyway, the price is already broken into it. Normally what happens is that when the price breaks down under, which like here it has broken under, so it tested. Normally when it tests and fails to go back above, we normally see moves like this. We normally see moves like this, and then more continuation. In this case, it's not been the case, and I'll just delete so I can redo it. So this is not the case here, and then we 1 2 3 4 slight move on the higher side, but then close within it, and then again push lower, push lower, push lower, push lower. It's been flirting with this resistance ever since. It's not been closing on the higher side, but it's also not going for this decline. I mean, like ideally you should now we should be seeing a decline like this, but it's still been hovering around here. And one of the cases, like apparent reason, is that unlimited flow of QE coming in, so that makes it very that's the attraction that the indices or stocks keep finding, and money keeps finding way into it. More, I'm gonna keep my views to myself. It's been artificially inflated, but I'm not, those are my personal view. But then yeah, I was actually looking for a move down, actually beyond here, for quite some time, but this has been a total distraction. It's flirting, testing, and doing absolutely nothing. But regardlessly, this is the trend line that I've drawn on them. The black one. I'll actually just read to it. So This is a trend line that comes in now. Trade opportunity wise, even though it does not make sense, literally does not make sense, but as I mentioned, that I'm going to keep my view to myself. It should have been, done this already, but we still uh, we are still trying to figure out what it needs to do. So as long as the money keeps finding to the stock market, yeah, I mean, it'll, that's the impetus it requires to stay afloat. But I think the time is running out for S&P. Either it closes higher and then, sorry, either it closes back above like this and close and then get a retest and then show that it's got strength and then carry on. So even we can see initial move like this. That's mean even if we break on the higher side, which would be, yeah, initial here, then come down here, then we go back 3000 plus, or this is the move. I would have prefer on the lower side. I actually had been for a while, but last two and a half weeks it's just been dragged on, and this is like where it's easy to lose interest because whatever comes in next, it's gonna be impactful, especially on the lower side. The break on the lower side would be a swift move. The move would be swift. So best ideal scenario right now is to wait for a break under 2900 and then go in short. Otherwise, the danger looms for it to go and close on the higher side and then continue on the higher. So yeah, that's the sketch that I had over the uh, for the S&P. But I was actually this would have been a good shot out here, and then this would have been a second good shot. But this would have been the aim. But the price has got its own mindset, so it is doing what it is doing. But then, as long as money keep flowing into the stock indices and stocks, basically to the stocks, uh, it's S&P right now is taking its time, and we did this the silver again. Okay, the pound. Yeah, I was mentioning this is a broader channel that I was looking into. I don't know if I have. Yeah, no, this one. Yeah, this was the broader channel that I was looking, and that is between this black. So the top around 2640 and the bottom around 1910. So quite a. I'll just redo it. So quite a decent size. Yeah, quite a decent size channel. So between here and here. Okay, so and this is basically a median within this channel. So if the price is breaking under, then this is the flow. Otherwise, I still would expect another return, at least a test back towards 22, 22, 30, 35, around these numbers, around here, and then move on, potential move on the higher side. Uh, this is a resistance that I'm looking at within this channel. Roughly about 2460 yeah, 2460 is the main resistance. It's just a small pennant formation. You know, if I put this trend line into it, uh, it gives us another variation, which is that if we start breaking on the higher side, then we can go back and test 2620, 2630. Then either break, we go higher, or then we go lower. So that's in the hindsight, but that is later. But as of right now, before it even comes down to 2460, there's plenty more resistance, as I was discussing earlier, uh, which is not this one. Okay, which is basically like currently we just came on the wrist, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. Yeah, this is what I did, and this is what I use and then this soft initial target was in. So basically, as I did mention in the earlier recording that on see the one on the daily, there was a longer sketch view, but intraday intraday trade, uh, that was uh, ideal buys from here. We came short, but as soon as we went back above this again, the support that was it was holding and closed on the higher side, so this becomes a buy, and this was the target, the soft target. So basically another break here for a move higher, or another break lower for a move on the lower side back towards 2270, 2280. So this was a small play in between, but then this resistance is holding, so we're looking back on the lower side as of right now. But when we were looking more clearly, this was the angles. I mean, this is the wedge that it broke yesterday, came down, almost came down, hitting those better support zone, and then lifted off again. We simply matching those numbers in 15 minutes. Resistance is provoking shift in the price on the lower side, so which is fine. uh, this is what I was looking for, again a slightly broader aspect. Now for these trades, that's mean for this trade is these are the trades that cannot go in every day, but then you have to wait for your prominent spots. So my prominent spot out here would have been uh, let's say for today would have been close to 2400. So if I would have seen a price jump towards close to 2400, I would be more interested in taking a short, because I know this is a break point, initial break point for the price to go back and test back around close to 2500. So this becomes a crucial point in between that it needs to hold. So I would be if I was long, I would try to go and take my maximum profit towards here, and then even can go and attempt short, because I see a move on the lower side that has been undone towards 2250. We came a couple of times close to it, 2 or 3 times actually, but then these are just the bounces that does not these bounces mean nothing, not till it show that this is not just a small correction but a real deal, and for that 2400 needs to break, and price needs to close on the higher side. So if not that, then I would expect the move back for the lower side for 2250, at least for now, for it to come down into play. So favor move on the pound as of right now on the 2400, favor for 2250 on a short term scale, as I was mentioning on of the 15 minutes also. That was a good resistance that came into play. That was a resistance on the 30. This is 15 minutes layout. This is 30-minute layout. This is a bit rough, but then the point that's been maintained here is that this is the breakout point. So full flow of the price. So full flow of the price should find its way back, at least bare minimum intraday, towards 2320, 2325. So which means resistance mark here, hold, support mark here needs to come into play. So, and if it starts breaking under, which means if it comes down here, sorry, if it comes down here, then either starts holding and go back, then we should go back higher. If not, then we come back testing this zone. So 23.90. So yeah, this is a short-term play on the pound. So this was a good buy point, but as we determined earlier, based on 15 minutes, actual buys would have been once it started breaking. Uh, this would have been my preferred buy point around 23.90. It came short, but once it went back and closed on the higher side, then this becomes my buying point retest, and I would have made the profit here. And maybe not I would have short it because I would have waited for 2400, but nevertheless this is looking like this pound could be already done here, and that would confirm if we break back under this. So maybe 23.30 under, then I would expect the move that I was waiting earlier, which is uh, to buy from here for there. It's just that it came short, so it came short, and then so coming down, this is the move. If it breaks on the higher side, move for 2400. If it breaks on the lower side here, 23, let's say 23 33 30, I mean 23.30, if it breaks it, then I would assume it to come down all the way here, because this is anything back under this trend line, and anything back under this trend line, it needs to come down here. Maybe the recording is just I don't know if this is a recording that's been done now. Where is that? How do I close this recording? Oh.